Maayong adlaw kaninyo tanan. Good day everyone. I am Julina Sanchez Bailoses for first year BS Psychology Section A. In the previous report, we found out that the result in EDSA revolution resulted Marcos to exile in Hawaii together with his family, and Corazon Aquino become the 11th President of the Republic of the Philippines on February 25, 1986. So in this moment, we have found out the 1987 Constitution after martial law, or the Constitution under the presidency of Corazon Aquino. Ano ba yung mga batas na kanyang naipatupad sa kanyang kapanahunan? The President Corazon Aquino's government had three options regarding the Constitution. So, meron siyang pagpipilian. The first one, a revert or return the 1935 Constitution. So, yung 1935 Constitution, the Philippine government would pattern its government system after the American government, because the 1935 Constitution was granted in the United States in 1946 under the colonization of American. The second one is retain the 1973 Constitution or continue the 1973 Constitution. So this 1973 Constitution consists of 17 articles, provides for the shift of the government from presidential system of the government to parliamentary system of the government. The third one is be granted the power to make reforms or start anew and break from this vestige of a disgraced dictatorship. The Aquino's government decided to make a constitution that should be truly reflected of the aspiration and ideals of the Filipino people. In 1986, constitutional government was created, composed of 48 members, appointed by President Aquino from varied backgrounds and representations. The convention drew up a permanent constitution, largely restoring the setup abolished by Marcos in 1972, but with new ways to keep the president in check, a new reaction to the experience of Marcos' rule. The new constitution was officially adopted on February 2, 1987. The Constitution begins with a preamble and 18 contained articles. It established the Philippines as a democratic republican state where sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. It allocates governmental powers among the executive, legislative, and judicial branches of the government. So, the following are the functions and roles of the three branches of the government under the 1987 Constitution. The first one is the executive branch. It is composed of President, Vice President, and Cabinet Secretaries. It is, as expected, it is headed by the President. The President and Vice President is elected by a direct vote of the people, and the term of office is 6 years. The President is Chief Executive and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The Constitution grants the President authority to appoint his cabinet. These departments form a large portion of the country's bureaucracy. The executive branch has the authority to administer the law, primarily by bringing lawbreakers to trial and to appoint officials and oversee the administration of government responsibility. The second branch is the legislative branch. It is authorized to make, alter, repeal laws under a bicameral system. The Congress is composed of senators and House of Representatives. So it is combination of two. The first one is the Senate. It is composed of 24 members or 24 senators who are elected at large by the qualified voters of the Philippines. The term of office of the senators is 6 years. The House of Representatives, it is composed of not more than 250 members unless otherwise fixed by law, who are elected from district, a portion among the provinces, cities, and the metropolitan Manila area, and those who are elected through a party list system of registered national, regional, and sector parties of organizations. The term of office of members of the House of the Representatives or Congressman is 3 years. The last branch is the judicial branch. It is composed of Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, Court of Tax Appeals, Sandigan Bayan, and other lower courts. It holds the power to settle controversies involving rights that are legally demandable and enforceable. This branch determines whether or not there has been a grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction on the part and instrumentality of the government. The 1987 Constitution expressly grants the Supreme Court the power of judicial review as the power to declare a treaty, international or executive agreement, law, presidential decree, proclamation order, instruction or ordinance or regulation unconstitutional. This is the part 2 of my report entitled Attempts to Amend or Change the 1987 Constitution. So changing the Constitution and what have been the attempts to amend or change the 1987 Constitution. So yung iba't ibang paraan yung na-provide kung paano baguhin ang 1987 Constitution. So there are three ways or three methods that Constitution can be changed. So the first one is through Constituent Assembly, or also known as CONAS, wherein to propose amendments or revisions to the Constitution. So the second one is through Constitutional Convention, or through or also known as CONCON, where Congress, upon vote of 2/3 of all its members, calls for a constitutional convention. They may also submit to the electorate the question of calling conventioning through a majority vote of all its members. In a CONCON, delegates will propose amendments or revisions to the Constitution, not Congress. The 1987 Constitution does not provide for a method by which delegates to the CONCON are chosen. So the third and last method that a constitution can be amended or can be changed is through people's initiative. In this method, amendments are also known as PI. In this method, amendments to the Constitution may be proposed by the people upon a petition of at least 12% of the total number of registered voters. So meron ring kapangyarihan na magbago or baguhin yung Constitution yung people's initiative or yung mga registered voters. So meron ring mga tao who attempt to change the 1987 Constitution. Starting with the presidency of Fidel V. Ramos, who succeeded Corazon Aquino. So yung first attempt was 1995 when then Secretary of National Security Council Jose Almonte drafted a constitution, but it was exposed to the media and it was never prospered. So yung second attempt or second effort to attempt to change in the Constitution, it has happened in 1997 when a group called PIRMA hoped to gather signatures from voters to change the 1987 Constitution through a people's initiative. Many were against this, including then Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, who brought the issue to court and won, with the Supreme Court judging that a people's initiative cannot push through without enabling law. So the succeeding president Joseph Ejercito Estrada formed a study commission to investigate the issues surrounding charter to change, focusing on the economic and judiciary provisions of the Constitution. This effort was also blocked by different entities. After Estrada was replaced by another people power and succeeded by his vice president Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, then House Speaker Jose de Venecia endorsed constitutional change through a constituent assembly. So Jose de Venecia also attempt to change the constitution, by which entails a 2/3 or by through constitutional constitution, which entails a 2/3 vote of the House to propose amendments or revision to the Constitution. This initiative was also not successful since the term of President Arroyo was mired in the controversy and scandal, including the possibility of Arroyo extending her term as president, which the Constitution does not allow. The administration of the succeeding President Benigno Aquino III had no marked interest in charter change, except those emanating from different members of Congress, including Speaker of the House Feliciano Belmonte Jr., who attempted to introduce amendments to the Constitution that concern economic provision that aim towards liberation. This effort did not see the light of the day. So there are a lot of people try to attempt the 1987 Constitution, but up until now they did not succeeded.